Celebrating when you lose money trading sounds completely insane. I get it. The entire point of trading is to make money, not lose it. Taking yourself out to dinner after losing $2,000 seems like the behavior of someone who's completely lost touch with reality. But hear me out. In trading, ordinary thinking gets you ordinary results. And this inverse approach is exactly what's needed to separate yourself from the 95% of traders who get wrecked. Your brain doesn't care about your process. It cares about what feels good and what feels bad. And right now, you're teaching it all the wrong lessons. Think about your last winning trade. You felt amazing, told someone about it, maybe posted it. Now think about your last loser. You probably felt terrible, closed your platform, questioned everything. Here's the problem. You just trained your brain to destroy your account. Every single time you celebrate a win and spiral over a loss, you're teaching your brain something. Winning equals dopamine. Losing equals pain. Your brain is simple. It moves toward pleasure and runs from pain. Seems logical, right? Except now you're addicted to winning. Not to making money long term. To the feeling of being right in this exact moment. You need that hit. So you start chasing trades that aren't there. You close winners early because you need to lock in that feeling before it disappears. You hold losers because taking the loss means feeling that pain, and your brain will do anything to avoid it. You just programmed yourself to cut winners and hold losers. The exact opposite of what you need to do to make money. Congratulations. The traders making serious money do the exact opposite. They've rewired their brains to celebrate something completely different. And once you understand what they're doing, you'll realize your entire approach has been backwards. Let me show you what this actually looks like. A trader executes a setup perfectly. Entry at the exact level he planned. Position size calculated to risk exactly 1% of his account. Stop loss placed exactly where his strategy says it should be. Everything by the book. The trade goes against him and stops out for an $890 loss. He closes his platform and goes to his favorite restaurant that night. Books a table. Orders whatever he wants. Not because he's delusional. Not because he enjoys losing money. Because he just executed his process perfectly. And that's what deserves the reward. Same trader, different day. He sees a setup forming and jumps in early because he's afraid of missing the move. He sizes too big because he's feeling confident from yesterday. He has no predetermined stop because he's convinced this one's going to work. The trade rips in his favor and he makes $2,340. He closes it out of fear of giving it back. He doesn't celebrate. He doesn't tell anyone. He takes the next day off from trading as punishment because he just broke every single rule in his playbook, and the fact that he happened to get lucky doesn't change that. He just reinforced behavior that will eventually destroy him. You're sitting there thinking this is insane. Why would you punish yourself for making money? Why would you celebrate losing money? This seems completely backwards. But here's what you're missing. He's not celebrating losing money. He's celebrating doing the hard thing correctly. Taking that stop loss when every fiber of your being wants to hold a position and pray it comes back. That's the hard thing. He did it. That deserves recognition. He's not punishing making money. He's punishing the behavior that will eventually blow up his account. Getting lucky once, twice, 5 times on a broken process doesn't mean the process works. It means you haven't paid the price yet. He's punishing the behavior before it costs him everything. Your brain doesn't understand P&L statements and account balances. It understands rewards and punishments. Right now, you're rewarding outcomes. He's rewarding process. That's the entire difference between his account going up consistently and yours going sideways or bleeding slowly. Think about what actually happens when you condition yourself to feel amazing about winning trades. You become addicted to that feeling. You genuinely need it. So you start forcing trades that aren't there. You see a marginal setup and you take it anyway because maybe this is the one that gives you that hit of dopamine. You're chasing the feeling, not following your strategy. When you do have a winner, you can't let it run. What if it reverses? What if you give back your profits? What if this good feeling disappears? You need to close it right now and lock in that dopamine while you can. Every single winner gets cut short because you're more addicted to the feeling than committed to your exit plan. And losers? You can't take them. The pain is too intense. Your brain is literally screaming at you to avoid that feeling at all costs. So you move your stop loss. You tell yourself it'll come back. You add to the position to average down. You convince yourself this time is different. You do absolutely anything except take the loss and feel bad. You'd rather watch your account bleed out slowly than feel that sharp pain right now. This isn't a discipline problem. This isn't a willpower problem. This is a conditioning problem. You've spent months or years training your brain that winning feels good and losing feels bad. You created this addiction yourself by celebrating the wrong thing. Now let me show you what happens when you completely flip this system. You train your brain that following your process feels good. Win or lose becomes irrelevant. Did you follow your rules? That's the only question that matters. When you execute perfectly and take a loss, you still get the reward. Your brain starts learning that following rules equals pleasure. Not being right. Not making money on this specific trade. Following the process. What changes in your actual trading? Everything. You stop chasing trades. There's no urgency anymore. You're not trying to get a dopamine hit from being right. You're trying to follow your process. There's no internal pressure to trade because you don't need to be right to feel good. You cut losers as planned. Zero hesitation. The stop was in your plan. It got hit. You took it exactly where you said you would. That's a win in your reward system, even though you lost money. There's no pain to avoid anymore. So there's nothing stopping you from taking the loss immediately. You let winners run. This is probably the biggest change. You don't need to close the trade to feel good. The good feeling already happened when you executed the entry correctly. Now you can let the trade play out according to your exit plan instead of according to your emotional needs. You're not white-knuckling it trying to let it run. You genuinely don't care about closing it early because the reward already happened. Here's exactly how to implement this. You need two completely separate tracking systems. One for P&L, one for execution quality. Your P&L tracker is just data. Green number or red number. Total for the day. Total for the week. You look at it the same way you'd look at the weather report. Information, but no emotion attached to any of it. Your execution tracker is where all the emotion lives. Every single trade gets rated from 1 to 10 based purely on whether you followed your process. Not whether you made money. Whether you followed your rules. Did you wait for all your confirmation signals before entering? Did you calculate your position size according to your risk management rules? Did you place your stop loss where your plan said to place it? Did you exit based on your predetermined plan or based on fear and greed in the moment? A 10 out of 10 means you followed every single rule. A 1 out of 10 means you broke your rules completely. The P&L is not part of this score at all. You can lose money and get a 10. You can make money and get a 1. Let me give you specific examples so you understand exactly what this looks like. Trade 1. You're down $750. You followed all your rules. Entry signal confirmed. 1% risk. Stop at the swing low. Stop got hit. You took it without hesitation. That's a 10-tenths trade. You reward yourself. Nice dinner, movie, whatever makes your brain feel good. Trade 2. You're up $2,100. You entered early, size too big, had no stop, closed out of fear. That's a 3/10 trade. You got lucky. You punish yourself. No trading tomorrow. No reward. The money is completely irrelevant. Process is everything. You're training your brain to crave perfect execution instead of craving being right. You're rewiring the neural pathways that have been destroying your account. Most people read about this concept and think they understand it, but they don't actually implement it correctly. They execute perfectly, lose money, tell themselves, hey, good job on following the process, and then still feel bad because they lost money. That doesn't work. The mental pep talk isn't enough. You need the actual tangible reward. Your brain needs something physical. Go get the dinner. Buy the thing. Take the afternoon off. Give your brain the dopamine hit from something real. They also still celebrate when they make money with terrible execution. They know they broke their rules. They know they got lucky. But they made $3,000, and that feels way too good to punish themselves. They think, I'll punish myself next time, but this time I'll just enjoy it. You have to punish it. Right then. That's the entire point. You're breaking the association between making money and feeling good. You're teaching your brain that the process matters and outcomes don't. If you let yourself celebrate because you made money. You just rewarded breaking your rules. Your brain doesn't care about your intellectual understanding that you got lucky. It just knows broke rules felt good. Do it again. Let me show you what happened when someone actually implemented this system correctly for an extended period. First 90 days, standard reward system. Celebrate wins, spiral over losses. The P&L, down $8,200. Celebrating wins made him cut them short. Spiraling over losses made him hold them too long. Next 90 days, rewarded execution regardless of outcome. Same strategy, same setups. The P&L, up $27,600. That a $35,800 difference from changing nothing except what he celebrated and punished. Your rules need to be completely black and white for this to work. Rules where you can look at a trade afterward and definitively say whether you followed them or broke them. If your rules are fuzzy, your execution scores will also be fuzzy, and you'll end up rewarding yourself for breaking rules because you can convince yourself you kind of follow them mostly. Here's what most people completely misunderstand about this approach. They think the goal is to make money, and execution is just the vehicle to get there. So when they execute badly but make money, they still want to celebrate because they achieve the goal. When they execute perfectly but lose money, they still feel bad because they failed to achieve the goal. You have to flip this entire framework completely upside down. Execution is the goal. Money is just long-term feedback about whether your strategy has an edge. Any individual trade outcome means absolutely nothing except as a measure of execution quality. This sounds impossible right now because you're still completely wired to care about money. That's normal. You've been conditioned your entire life that money equals success and losing money equals failure. But when you actually rewire this through consistent application of the reward and punishment system, something strange happens. You stop being emotional during trading hours. A winner hits your target? Cool. Data point. Move on to the next setup. A loser stops out? Cool. Data point. Move on to the next setup. You're emotionally flat during the trading session because outcomes don't trigger any emotional response anymore. They're just information. The emotion comes after the market closes. You review your trades for the day. Did you follow your process on every single one? That's when you feel good or bad. The P&L is sitting there in the tracking sheet, but it's completely disconnected from how you feel about your trading day. This rewiring takes time. About 90 days if you're consistent with it. Your brain is going to fight you the entire time because it's been conditioned for years or decades to care about outcomes over process. You'll execute a trade perfectly, lose money, and part of you will still feel bad. You'll break your rules, make money, and part of you will still want to celebrate. You have to force the correct response anyway. Override the instinct. Reward perfect execution even when you don't feel like it yet. Even when losing the money still stings. Go get the reward. Punish broken rules even when you want to celebrate because you made money. Take the punishment. Force it. After about 90 days of consistent application, it becomes automatic. Your brain has learned the new pattern. Perfect execution feels genuinely good regardless of money. Broken rules feel genuinely bad regardless of money. You're not forcing it anymore. You're not overriding anything. The new wiring is in place. You know what changes in your trading when this rewiring actually takes hold? Everything. You stop revenge trading completely. Revenge trading happens because you're trying to make back money so you can feel good again. You're in pain from the loss, and you need a win to make the pain stop. When losing money doesn't create pain anymore because you still got rewarded for following your process, there's nothing to revenge trade for. You already feel good. There's no pain to escape from. You stop adjusting position size based on emotions. After a few winners, you don't size up bigger because those wins didn't make you feel special. After a few losers, you don't size down smaller because those losses didn't make you feel bad. Your position size stays exactly what your rules say it should be because it's based on mathematics and risk management, not on how you're feeling about recent results. You stop checking your P&L during the trading day. Why would you check it? It's not connected to how you should feel. The only thing that matters while the market is open is whether you're following your process on each setup. You can check the P&L at the end of the day when you're grading your execution quality, but during trading hours, it's completely irrelevant information. You stop talking about your trades. You don't post winners. You don't tell people about your gains. Because the wins don't feel special anymore. They're just trades that worked out. The only thing that feels special is perfect execution, and most people don't care about hearing, "I took my stop loss exactly where my plan said to take it." So you just stop talking about trading, except with other people who understand process over outcome. The shift also changes how you handle drawdowns. Every trader goes through periods where nothing works. Your strategy stops working temporarily. You hit your stops over and over. Your account drops 10%, 15%, 20%. This is where most traders fall apart psychologically. But when you're focused on execution instead of outcomes, drawdowns don't destroy you mentally. You look at each losing trade and ask, did I follow my process? If yes, the trade was a success regardless of the loss. You're still getting rewarded. You're still feeling good about your trading. The drawdown is just information that tells you either your edge isn't playing out right now, or market conditions have shifted and you need to adjust. You don't spiral. You don't question everything. You don't blow up trying to make it back. Because you're still doing the thing that makes you feel good, following your process perfectly. The money will come back when conditions favor your strategy again. You just keep executing. Compare that to the outcome-focused trader in a drawdown. Every loss feels terrible. They're not getting any rewards because they're losing money. The pain builds up. They start forcing trades to try to get back to feeling good. They increase position size to make back losses faster. They abandon their strategy to try something new. They're completely unmoored because the thing that made them feel good, making money, isn't happening anymore. This is why most traders blow up during drawdowns. Not because their strategy stopped working, because their reward system collapsed when the outcomes turned negative. Someone's going to watch this and think the whole thing is extreme. Punishing yourself for making money sounds crazy. Celebrating when you lose money sounds completely delusional. This seems like some weird psychological game that's overthinking everything. But you're missing the entire point. You're not celebrating the loss. You're celebrating doing something difficult correctly. Do you understand how hard it is to take a loss when your plan says to take it? Your brain is screaming at you to hold it, to give it more room, to add to it, to do anything except accept that you were wrong. When you take that stop loss anyway, exactly as planned, you just did something incredibly difficult. You went against every instinct. That's worth celebrating. You're not punishing making money. You're punishing behavior that will eventually destroy you. Breaking your rules might work today. It might work tomorrow. It might work for a month. But it's the exact behavior that leads to blowing up your account. When you break your rules and happen to make money, you just reinforce the wrong neural pathway. You made it easier to break rules next time. You moved one step closer to the inevitable blow-up. That's worth punishing because you're literally training yourself to fail. The fundamental difference between professional traders and everyone else isn't intelligence. It's not access to better strategies. It's not some secret information. It's this one thing. Professionals are process-focused and amateurs are outcome-focused. A professional trader can have a losing day, maybe even a losing week, and still feel completely fine about their trading. Why? Because every single trade was executed according to their process. They followed their rules. They did everything right. The market just didn't cooperate with their particular approach during that time period. They know that if they keep executing perfectly, the edge in their strategy will show up over time. An amateur can have a winning day and still feel stressed and anxious. Why? Because they know they got lucky. They know they broke their rules. They know they're supposed to feel good because they made money, but deep down they know the behavior that made them money today is the same behavior that's going to blow them up eventually. You want to get to the mental state where someone asks you, how did trading go today? And your first thought isn't your P&L. Your first thought is whether you followed your plan. If you executed every trade perfectly, it was a great day regardless of whether you made or lost money. If you broke discipline multiple times, it was a terrible day regardless of whether you made or lost money. That's when you become consistent. That's when the real money starts flowing in. Not because you're chasing it. Not because you're trying harder. Because you stopped chasing outcomes and started chasing something that actually matters. The implementation is simple, but not easy. It requires you to go against everything your brain has learned about trading. It requires you to feel good when society says you should feel bad, and feel bad when society says you should feel good. It requires you to measure success differently than every other trader you know. But the results speak for themselves. Traders who make this shift stop blowing up. They stop having massive emotional swings. They stop revenge trading. They stop breaking their rules. They become consistent. And consistency in trading is what eventually leads to serious money. Try this for 90 days. Don't just think about it. Don't just understand it intellectually. Actually implement it. Track execution quality separately from P&L. Reward perfect execution even when, especially when, you lose money. Punish broken rules even when you make money. Make execution quality the only variable that determines how you feel about your trading. After 90 days, look at your results. Compare them to the previous 90 days. I'll bet everything that you won't want to go back to your old system, because you'll finally understand what every consistently profitable trader already knows. The money doesn't matter, the process matters, and when you get the process right consistently, the money follows automatically. So yes, celebrating when you lose money sounds completely insane, until you understand that you're not celebrating the loss. You're celebrating building the exact mental framework that will make you consistently profitable for the rest of your trading career. And that's worth celebrating more than any single winning trade ever will be.